Alright, Assalamu alaikum. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a while. We got a lot to catch up on, so tune in real quick. Grab a seat, grab some popcorn. Okay, it is currently about 6 weeks until Boston. There's been a few weeks since I last checked in. I'm gonna give you quickly just a kind of rundown overview of all these weeks. I'm gonna do them just one by one, and we'll just run through them. I'm gonna give you what workouts I did those weeks, what type of long runs I've done, and kind of like a summary of each week. Hopefully that gives a good picture of how things are going. So for 12 weeks out, the week of January 24th, I was actually out traveling, so I made do with what I had. Had the first workout of 7 by 3 minutes in some kind of cold conditions, let's put it. That was actually one of the more challenging workouts, effort wise, and also just conditions wise. It was just rough. It's pretty. It was meant to be at a critical power. I got the effort in for the most part, but it was like I had some slippery patches and whatnot. It was one of those you just kind of glad you just got it done. The next one that week was a little bit better. It was 2 times 17 minutes at threshold. Uh, Solid workout. I think that one that was a good tick the box. Long run was a progression long run in some strides. It was kind of over snowy terrain. When I say kind of, I mean it really was pretty snowy. So the summary for this week, 12 weeks out, was 74 miles of running, about an hour of yoga, an hour and 40 of lifting, and 30 minutes on the good old hamster wheel, the elliptical. Jump into 11 weeks out. That was the week of January 31st to February 6th. The workouts this week were 4 by 7 minutes at lactate threshold intervals, and then followed by 1 minute hard. Pretty solid workout. I think I was very happy with that one. And the second workout of the week was a progression run that was followed by 10 times 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So that was meant to be a race prep workout because I was hoping to run a 5K that following weekend, but that didn't end up happening. The 5K got postponed due to crappy conditions, so we pushed it back 1 week. So I ended up going and doing a long run that Sunday instead of the race. So the long run ended up being kind of a progression run into 4 by 7 minutes. This 4 by 7 minutes was different from the 4 by 7 minutes earlier in the week. This was closer to threshold, whereas the earlier one was more of a tempo run. Pretty good long run, happy with it. Summary for 11 weeks out was 77 miles of running, 2 hours of yoga, an hour and 20 of lifting, and 35 minutes on the hamster wheel. So that brings us to 10 weeks out, the week of February 7th to February 13th. This was actual 5K race week. It ended up being a pretty snowy and cold and windy one, but it was a fun one. I'll get to that in a second. But the workouts this week leading up were more tune-up workouts for the 5K. I had a 2 by 2 minutes 5K effort and 3 by 2 minutes at about the same effort. And some strides kind of just to keep the legs popping and moving. The race itself didn't feel great. I was breathing pretty hard right off the gun. I think I overcooked it because there's an uphill at the start, and I did end up with a 16:35 5K time that day, which, considering the conditions and how badly I felt, I think I'm very happy with on paper. Summary for the week of February 7th, 10 weeks out, was 73 miles of running, 2 hours of yoga, and 1 hour of lifting, and 35 minutes on the elliptical. So the following week was 9 weeks out from Boston. It was a week of Valentine's Day, February 14th. I had just one workout this week because I was recovering from the 5K. The workout was a progression, then 6 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And the long run that weekend was a progression leading into 2 by 14 minutes, kind of at the upper end of moderate towards marathon effort a little bit. As usual, I do my runs over hills, so it was a good and interesting run. Summary for this week was 87 miles of running, 2 hours of yoga, an hour and a half of lifting. And this week I kind of stopped doing the elliptical and I swapped it for running doubles. So adding 30 to 40-minute runs twice a week, as I kind of felt my body was ready for it and I could handle it. And I was upping a little bit of upping my running volume a little bit. So I felt that was a good transition. So that takes us to 8 weeks out. Things are getting hefty. Training is ramping up. Had a couple of solid workouts, some good volume, and a good long run. So let's get to that. I had a critical power intervals workout on that Tuesday, 10 by 90 seconds on, 90 seconds off, followed by that Thursday, 2 times 20 minutes at threshold. Solid workout. I felt pretty controlled on that one. I recall having a really good day out there. And the long run, I did a Boston specific long run. So it started with 4 miles downhill, start as a progression, and then leading into a 5 times 6 minutes at about marathon effort, slightly faster, for a total of 2.5 hours. So that was my first time hitting that amount of time on feet as far as the long run goes. All my long runs prior to that have been in the 2 hour to 2 hour and 10 range. So in summary for this week, 95 miles of running, 2 hours of yoga, hour and 50 of lifting. So I ran 2 doubles. I didn't do an elliptical, as I explained earlier. So with 7 weeks to go, the final week of February, well, not technically the first week of March, February 28th until March 5th, March 6th. The workouts were 8 times 2.5 minutes at about VO2 max effort, equal recovery, same amount of time to recover. That was a challenging workout. That was one of the tougher workouts that I had, but I was happy to have gotten in and done, and I felt like I nailed it. But it's really like I had to stay on the gas and really focus. Very glad to have gotten that one in. That Thursday, I ran 2 times 24 minutes at threshold, so same as the previous week, 2 by 20 minutes, but 24 minutes this time. Unfortunately, my watch froze for this one, so you'll have to take my word on it that I hit the target that I had set for it. Long run this week, I kind of did the same Boston start simulation route, totaling 2.5 hours. This time I did, instead of 5 by 6 minutes, I did 3 by 15 minutes at the same effort. So marathon effort, slightly faster. Felt pretty good. I was smooth. I was controlled. Very pleased. I feel like I'm getting fitter and fitter, which is awesome. In summary for this week, 99 miles of running, 2 hours of yoga, and an hour and 50 of lifting. You can always assume actually every day I'm doing something as far as strength and mobility, or just body weight exercises, rolling with like a massage roller type thing. That's kind of just like standard for me nowadays. But yeah, that's 7 weeks out, and that brings us to this week. I'm during a week of 6 weeks out, but I'll give the summary for that later. So overall at this point, I think things are going pretty damn well. I feel good. Slight bit of fatigue kind of accumulating in the legs. I start to feel my legs a little bit heavy sometimes, but for the most part, I'm feeling fresh whenever it's time for a workout. The legs have a lot to give still, so that's great news. I just feel stronger and fitter. The numbers show it, and also just the way I feel shows it, which I'm very happy with. So what's next now is tune-ups. I've got a 5K this coming weekend, and then half marathon the weekend after that, which I'm really excited about. I haven't raced that distance in a long time, and after that, it's just starting to get ready for taper, really, and then time for Boston. So it's getting real, it's getting closer. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.